Good day, colleagues.
Good afternoon,
Good
sir.
Sir.
Yeah, how's it going?
Fine, thanks, and yourself?
Good, thank you. You guys can hear me clearly.
Yes, sir.
All right. Sorry, there's a little bit of noise for a couple of
Good
minutes.
day,
Then,
sir.
hi, how are you? So, anyway, I hope you guys are good. And then I want us just to continue because yesterday I said that today we're starting from the second module, which is module 2. So to understand, um, okay, the module that we're dealing with here. Okay, before I move on, like, are we all on the same page regarding what we're doing previously, what we're looking at all these past few days, these past 2 days, actually, past 2 days? Are there any questions regarding that, or we are all sorted? Are we sorted, guys?
I think so, Mr. TC.
With module 2 today, I
Sorry?
think because I was doing my. So I was not here today, but now that you are saying we are starting with module 2, meaning we're finishing 1 year.
Yeah, like we're doing the last part of 1 today. We're doing outcome 3 of 1, and then we're starting with 2.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So anyway, now yesterday we're dealing with we'd already started with third module here, or module 3 there, where we're looking at the code of ethics, especially when it comes to dealing with South Africa or on its aspect there, and then we're looking at the ethics there. So yesterday we're looking at responsible decision making according to the ethics part. Now, let me share my screen then to show you.
Sir, you are muted.
Hi guys, sorry, there was a lot of noise here, so that's why I just had to wait for the noise to dial down a little bit. So now we can actually talk. So yeah, so I'm sharing my screen here. So yesterday we were looking at the ethics part. So we're saying that from software piracy, and then we look at, I said that we look at the ethics now and responsible decision making. So Foundation of all security systems is formed by moral principles and practices of the people that are involved. Okay, so here in this case, the symbol talking about how ethics how ethics play a role in the decision making in any information systems world. So now, one thing that we should be aware of, we should be aware that it is the individual responsibility of you as a software engineer, of you as a student, of you as if you're running your company, as the company manager, director, whatever that you are doing, it is your own responsibility to make decisions that are associated with information security. But those decisions also are supposed to be ethical. Hence, I was talking yesterday that there are other people that sell other people's information. So that is unethical in a way. So if you're dealing with people's data, people's information and stuff, you have to make an ethical decision, a conscious decision that I am in charge of the security aspect of my company, and then whatever that you do, always do it with that mindset. So that there is one of the biggest responsibilities that you can put over yourself. So now they're saying that this responsible decision making, yeah, there's confidentiality there's privacy, there's piracy, there's fraud and misuse, there's liability, there's copyright, trade secret, sabotage. You should be able to take all these into consideration. If you're working in a company, one thing that you should expect, one thing that you should expect is that sometimes your colleagues, the people that you're working with, are going to somehow sabotage you. You should expect that. Even though I'm not saying that expect it every time, but it is there. It's a thing that is there, that you are going to get sabotaged. Other people are going to try to mess up with your apps and things like that. So all of those things that you should be aware of. So now, as I that there is ethics in this decision making or responsible decision making, because you are responsible for a lot of things, so you have to be aware of that. Now, the second part here, confidentiality and privacy. Under confidentiality and privacy, that it basically goes back to what we're talking about there. That there is a possibility that you get hacked. There is a possibility that other people, they want to hide their information because they do not want people to tamper with their information. Computers can be used symbolically to intimidate, deceive, and defraud victims. And we have seen that a lot. It's been happening all over the world. We know that people have been using computers to do all these things, to intimidate people, who send you death threats there on the internet. If you're on Twitter, you understand how toxic the internet is. People intimidate each other there. Other people even uh, claim that they are going to commit suicide because of what people are saying, whether it's true or false, I don't know. But because the internet is used to intimidate, people use that to intimidate, to do certain things there. Also, at the same time, other people, they use the internet to deceive other people, and then other people, they use it to defraud other people there. Of which this is something that Troy was talking about yesterday. Notice here there's attorneys, government agencies, businesses, they are increasingly trying to find ways to, you know, work around this whole internet issue. But it's very, very difficult. Like, it's tough. It's very, very difficult. So how exactly to companies, how exactly to governments, law agencies, government agencies, to lawyers and things, how do they work around that entire the entire internet thing? Because there is no real law that says people should do APC and shouldn't do APC, even though we know that there are certain laws that deal with that. But there are so many aspects when it comes to that, that sometimes some of the ideas are literally lost in translation. So criminals also find useful phony invoices. They do this. Bills, checks are generated by computers, and the computers learn an ideal clock for carrying out criminal acts by imparting a clean quality time to crime. So you notice a lot of criminals, they use the internet to commit a lot of crime. If you see how much internet crime is committed in this day and age, it's a lot, it's huge, it's prevalent. So because people use computers to perform different types of crimes. Some of them, they defraud other people. Some of them, they blatantly steal. Some of them, they send emails telling you that they are so and so and they need this and that. Next thing, they have got your bank accounts. Next thing, they're hacking your accounts and things like that. So which is like it is tough to deal with, if I can just put it like that. And then we know that also invasion of privacy is so easy using computers. So easy. But now, unlike before, the invasion of privacy now can even borderline dangerous, because other people, they can stalk you to the extent that you do not even know if the person is watching you here or they're watching you ever, because they'll be telling you some certain things. But most of the times they will have access to your cameras at home. They have access to your web cameras on your computers. They have access to your phone, which tends to be a little bit dangerous because they can even track exactly where you are at any given time and follow you from point A to point B and things like that. So, and another thing that we know is that data is collected by individuals, and that data, they can hold a lot of information. You've got your banking details in that data. You've got your credit information. You've got your personal information regarding your addresses, your ID numbers, and things like that. So that in itself tends to be, you know, a lot. Like, it's a lot to deal with. It's a lot to deal with, and people use that data to perform like to commit crime. They use that data to um, hack accounts. They use that data to intimidate, blackmail other people. You see, so that confidentiality is, especially with this evolution that's there, uh, it's something that's difficult to comprehend. It's difficult to comprehend. because you cannot easily tell a person that no, you are safer when you're using a computer, because to be fair, it's a 50-50 kind of situation. It's a 50-50 kind of situation. Depends on who wants information from them and what they will do to get access to that information, because there's no system that is hack proof. There's no system that is foolproof. It's impossible. You can't get any system that is foolproof. Because of that, you always stand a chance of being hacked. So now you notice that, so you understand that when the computer, the invasion of a computer has made invasion of privacy easy. It's so easy nowadays. Like, you follow someone, you can watch people, you can follow them, you can literally match whatever they are doing, wherever they are, whenever, so that you have access to them at any given time because of these computers there. And then now, because of that, not like there's breaches of confidentiality of personal data that is happening almost every day, and companies are being sued left and right. The Facebooks, the TikToks, the Twitters, all these major companies that you know have been sued once or twice or even more because of these breaches there. And then there's fraud and misuse, which is also part of that. Fraud and misuse now is basically people committing fraud using the internet. Like those guys that are calling you and then they're saying that they are your last old uncle that was missing 15 years ago because of ABC, and the next thing they want to give you money, what. And not just that, and then there are people that are doing crazy fraud out there. There are other people that are making money there out there, but they are making fraud. And fraud, guys, is not that simple thing that these 419 Yahoo guys are doing. It's not that that's not the only fraud that exists. People commit fraud in companies almost every day. They change invoices that they're receiving. They're selling people things that they know that are not working because they're selling them over the internet. They know that they are not going to be found. A friend of mine sold a car once in Pretoria, and then this guy that came paid and then reversed the money almost instantly. And then the guy, when he gets home, thinking the money is there because he got the notification, he gets the money, but the money has been reversed. But now banks have tried now to work against that. Now you can't reverse money anymore, unless you have to ask for permission from the person, the owner of the account, to reverse money. But you notice that, so because of this here, um, it makes life a little bit difficult to work around. And then also there is this thing of fraudulent records on computer systems and stuff like that. The theft of money, you see, in companies, theft of services. Other people steal services. Like when you talk about services, basically you are talking about having someone work for you and you don't pay them over the internet. That's stealing a service. Using software that is pirated, stealing a service. And then there's patents and copyright laws. Now, a patent can protect a unique or secret aspect of any idea. So now, I'm pretty sure you guys have always asked yourselves this, some of these questions before. And then one of the major questions that people are always asking is when it comes to patents, what is a patent and what exactly can I copyright? Because you hear other people saying, okay, what if I have an idea about maybe this, I want to build a house. I'm the first house builder in this whole earth, but I don't know how to build a house yet, but I've got an idea that I want to build a house. Can I go and copyright that particular idea? Answer is no, you can't. You can't copyright an idea. But if that idea is translated into paper and then it's practical, kind of, then yes, you can copyright that. But now, how do you copyright that? And then you can protect it, actually, not copyright it, because there's a difference between copywriting and protecting. So now, protecting is basically a patent. So that is what you do. You always protect a unique or secret aspect of any idea, which is difficult to obtain a patent. You see that? That's what I was saying. That is very difficult to obtain a patent, because with a patent is you need complete disclosure. Like, you need to tell them exactly what it is. And then at the same time, you want to hide your idea, but at the same time, they want you to tell them exactly the full idea. So which means if you bring a document, you have to take that entire whole document, you bring it over to the person, boom, put it in front of them and say, okay, this is my software that I want to write. And then they go through that particular software, and then they can give you a patent. But a patent is not a very easy, because like there's a lot of things that you can't protect, because a lot of the ideas that you might be thinking of, someone else might have thought about them. So you can't exactly protect that. But hence, but with the copyright, it's a little bit different there. So, and then the patent holder must disclose the complete details of the program to allow a skilled programmer to build the program. Moreover, here that a United States software patent will be unenforceable in most other countries. See, so most of the patents that you do are depending per country. The moment that you leave the country, it's invalid. So if someone decides to steal your idea, there is nothing that you can do about it. They can steal and get away with it if they're going to make use of it outside of the country. So copyright law provides a significant legal tool for use in protecting computer software. So now already, once you have made the software, then you can protect it using copyright laws. But if you haven't made the software, then if you steal an idea, it has to be a patent, which is almost impossible for you to get, because especially in South Africa, it's very difficult to get these patents. So now that is the difference between these two, copyright and patents. Like a copyright, you can only copyright an idea that is already in existence. You have made the software, and then you want to copyright your idea. That is allowed. You can do that. But remember, copyright doesn't mean that someone else cannot produce something similar to what you have. When you're copywriting, you're literally copywriting or who uses your software and how they use that particular software. And then also at the same time, you're also copywriting your code. but you cannot copyright the idea, because if someone else wants to make the same idea, they can make the same idea. They can make the same idea. They are not stopped from making the same idea. They're not stopped from doing that. So now trade secrets. Now when it comes to trade secrets, that is protecting something of value and usefulness in your trade. This law protects the unique and secret aspects of ideas known as the discoverer or his confidants. So once disclosed, the trade secret is lost as such and can only be protected under one of the following laws. So either like if you say, like when it comes to a trade secret, it's only valid as long as it is protected at a given time. And then now, software piracy. I was talking about this here. This here is more like a case study in South Africa. Now, software piracy is a problem. Like, I don't know, but myself as a developer, if there's one thing that we always looking at there, that you always worried about the most, it's actually software piracy. Like, it's always a problem. So, oh, 1 second. So now I was saying that in South Africa, this is one of the issues that we deal with the most, which is basically software piracy. And I say, like in South Africa, it's also difficult to deal with because let's face it, guys, we're not in America. So when it comes to softwares were a bit expensive. But nowadays, I feel like softwares, as much as they are expensive, they're not expensive as they used to because of this cloud system that has been brought in. So a lot of the software that you use, for instance, Adobe is around, how much is Adobe? How much is Adobe as a subscription a month? Because I know I used to pay for Adobe XD. I used to pay around 70 to 80 bucks a month. And then there was another software that I used to love using that I used to pay for. I think, what was it, Illustrator? I used to pay for. There are many other software. Then for game development, I use Unity. I pay for that one because that one, even if you try to get some funny versions of that, you're going to struggle. So I pay for that one. That one I pay for. Yeah. So I'm looking at the prices here. Adobe Creative Cloud, which is like all the apps in total. If you buy a once-off sub for like over, I think this is like once-off sub that's going to for like 8K. And then yeah, and then if you want specific ones there, for instance, like Photoshop, or Illustrator, you're looking at around 5,200. That is like a license for you to use it for forever, which is a lot of money. If you're not running a company, you're gonna die. Yeah. So softwares are very, very expensive. Like if you're looking at it here in South Africa there. But at least thanks to the cloud, I think it lowers a bit in terms of subscriptions there. You're looking at paying anything in the extremes of 300 to maybe 1,000 rand a month in terms of the softwares there, which is, it makes sense if you're a company or if you're someone that gets regular work. But if you're not getting regular work, or you're someone that is starting a small company, now you start to think about how much money that you'll be spending. And then that's why most people will like always go back to hacking software, which is basically doing software piracy, because it's difficult for people to get those softwares there. So, and then hence in South Africa here, it's one of the biggest issues that we have. And a lot of companies that sell software, they do not make a lot of money. To be honest, they don't make a lot of money because people are always like what you call selling, actually not even selling, downloading illegal softwares. So now, when you go through this document here, you start talking like Microsoft South Africa. Carl Everton says her company alone is currently busy investigating more than 60 computer dealers suspected of selling fake or illegal licensed software. Notice here that even Microsoft South Africa here is also struggling with this. That there's a lot of companies here that do that sell computers, and then there's install fake softwares. So the only chance of you getting like an original version, a genuine version of Windows, is when you go to these major retail outlets, your Vodacoms, your CAM, Macro, Incredible Connections, Hi-Fi Corporation stuff. You are bound to get the original legal version of Microsoft Windows, Microsoft Office. But if you go to these other smaller shops, they found a way of minimizing cost by making use of counterfeit software. Or if it's in South Africa, it's a crime, by the way. It's a crime, punishable by law. According to the Department of Trade and Industry, it's punishable by law. And so because of that, like it tends to affect a lot of like the industry, especially imagine you make software and then you want to make money using that particular software, and people keep on buying illegal copies of that particular software. Makes it so difficult for you
So
to make
can I
money.
ask
Like you can't accept. Yes.
bypassing a software installation, software piracy.
Come again?
Is bypassing a software installation. Let's say I'm installing softwares now on my computer, but
Uh-huh.
I am using something else. Like it's not original. Is it bypass? Like if I bypass something, is it also part of piracy?
The fact that you are bypassing, which means there is a certain requirement that you are not meeting. So technically, you cannot bypass genuine software. Genuine software can't be bypassed. So which means you downloaded the software illegally, unless if now and then there is the second part. Second part is you get legal software, but your machine cannot support it until you tweak a few, maybe the registers, to try to trick your operating system into accepting that other software. That there is not illegal. That is just you working around your computer to try to install some legal software. But if you find yourself that legal software doesn't work, and then you download some software that emulates the same as the legal software, but you get it from some funny site that doesn't have an activation code, that doesn't have, so which means basically you downloaded illegal software.
Okay, sir.
Why are you bypassing anything?
No, sir. Sir, I was
Yeah,
working for this company, ne?
yeah.
And I think because I think what they did at this company, ne? They pay for
Mhm.
this license, ne? In the beginning,
Yeah,
sharp. Because at some
yeah.
point we could not use our computers because the license was not paid. But I have those, like on my, what is this? My USB, ne? On my
Mhm.
flash drive, I have those installations and software installations that I can use to bypass, because I was going to start a business, a side hustle. So it's now when
Uh,
you're saying these things, I'm like, yo, I can't be arrested for this. But that's what we're doing for our users. But they initially
okay.
those licenses and they're still
Yeah,
paying them. There's a shortcut, there's a shortcut that we were using as well until they
yeah.
were paid. Yes. So we can't always pay for something that we can do and we are seeing that it's working. So hence I was asking, okay, is it wrong? But it made life easy even for the users. And we continued with those software installations. So I don't know. I don't know if they were wrong for that. Now it's making me think otherwise.
Yeah. Wow. So yeah, that the thing is this,
And
Nofunda.
it's a big
It's
company. So I can't even say it's
eh,
a big company, a big one.
a
But
big you see now
IT
for me,
people
ne,
come with the
okay, I'm not condoning software piracy. So I got a lost connection there. So strange. Okay, sorry guys, I lost connection there. So now, as I say, I was saying that I will understand for a small startup company, a company that has got 1 or 2 people, them using pirated software. But I'm saying I do not condone it. Understand that part there. But there are certain circumstances whereby they find themselves using that because they're trying to cut costs and stuff, which is still not right, but it happens. We will not lie about it. It happens. And then now, when you're dealing with a company, imagine a company as big as Capitec. Let me put it like that. A company as big, not Capit, like Kijima. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of an IT company called, there's an IT company called Kijima. So imagine a company as big as Kijima. And then they installing or they are running on pirated software. That doesn't make sense because these guys here are a company that specializes in IT. They've got clients that they are charging every month to pay a subscription fee. So as long as look, your clients are paying a subscription fee, I feel like there's like you can always mark that up into your price for you to buy original software that you can install and you can run because already they are paying for that. So let them pay for their own software. You see that? So I don't know. It's like as I said that here in South Africa, it's one of a hotly debated issue. It's a very hotly debated issue, and also our law doesn't exactly stamp down on piracy. It's not really top priority in our law. Unlike in countries like United States they take this seriously, but here not so much. Here, as much as we deal with counterfeit software, we look at it, we will frown upon it, but like, well, whatever. You see that? So that is the thing here in South Africa. As much as these companies like Microsoft might complain and say what, but our law isn't really, that rigid. Like it's not that rigid when it comes to software piracy. So next up, say that the biggest problem with piracy, though, is that there is a growing evidence that many local criminal organizations are now involved in counterfeiting to some degree, which effectively means that people buy pirated goods are actually funding organized crime. So I don't know about that because I feel like in this statement here, I feel like maybe this person here was saying this because they're feeling like they are losing out in terms of money. So they feel like when people are buying any pirated thing, they're actually funding organized crime, of which to an extent it can be true, to an extent, because some people do not buy this pirated software. They are available on the internet for free. Actually, most of the reasons why they will tell you that that they are giving a pirated software is that they are trying to make it easily available for other people. You see that? So there tends to be, a me say, they say, me say, they say kind of situation. So whether it's criminal syndicates that are making that or not, we do not know. But the underlying factor is if you're a software developer, it's not fair if someone goes and pirates your software. That's one thing that you understand. That is one thing that we all agree upon. It's not fair. But besides that, and then you really look at it. I don't
your
know.
screen.
Sorry?
Your screen is not showing.
Am I-
I don't know if it's on my side.
Oh, okay. But it's showing on my side. Let me stop and share it. Okay, is it showing now?
Yeah, something. Yeah, it's showing.
All right. So so now, like as I said, you can go through this particular report by these guys from Microsoft when they're talking about this. It's an entire report about what you call all these copyrights, software piracy issues and stuff. But one thing, guys, that I'll tell you, né, is as much as I'm saying that our government doesn't really put its foot down on this, but it doesn't mean that our government, if they catch you, they won't prosecute, they will prosecute. So if you are running a company, as an individual, obviously, you might get away with it because you individually you're just doing your stuff. But once you start running a company, you start generating income and stuff like that, this will come back to bite you. This will come back to bite you sometime later. Let's say a company like Microsoft can come and like, okay, they come with the law and then they say, okay, this and that, and then bring this and that, and then they start searching around and see, it becomes a bit of a problem sometime later. So these are some of the things that need to be checked. Right. So if do you guys have any questions regarding that whole software piracy thing that you're talking about before we move on to the second part here, module 2? If you understand what you're doing, you should be able to know how to estimate work. Like here, for instance, they're saying estimate a unit of work. So we need to understand how to estimate work. And also you need to understand the implications of late delivery. So there's this game that I was playing in the past couple of days. It's a developer's game. It's called Developer something something. I just forgot the name. I deleted it. So in this game, there you're literally given projects, and then you're supposed to make an estimate, and then you're supposed to create a program within that stipulated given space of time. And then after you have completed that project, and then you get paid. But if you do not complete the program in time, you're going to lose clients. And then from there, and then they start pulling out. Even when you try to bid for other jobs, you notice that the jobs are not coming through as easy as they did when you first started. So now, the very first part here, they want us to deal with, demonstrate the ability to interpret given cost and benefit analysis documentation. So now you should be able to analyze these aspects there. For instance, I'm going to do this. Which measures can software companies take to prevent software piracy? Okay, Busi, most companies now, what they are doing is their softwares, they do not make them more like, they do not make them publicly available. Like for instance, the companies like Sage Accounting, the one that deals with Sage Accounting, Sage HR and stuff. If you check their software are not publicly available. It's not so easy to get their software anywhere. So even if you get that software, you notice that like when it comes to it being hacked, I'm pretty sure the last version that I saw of Sage that was hacked or that was pirated, I think that was like a 2015 or 2016 version. So which means from 2015, 2016, they do not have anything that has been pirated. They do not have anything that has been hacked in some kind of way. That is one way. But now, also, if you do that, which means also you do not have a lot of people knowing about your software, which is a very big disadvantage. But that is one way that you can prevent software piracy. The second way that you can do that is offer your software as a cloud solution. I think that is the easiest way of you basically preventing software piracy. Offer your software as a cloud solution. You do that, you're done. Because now you host your software from your server, and then you give access to those that want to use it. And then for those that do not want to use it, you just don't give them access. And then from there, you are stopping your company from, you're stopping people from basically altering certain part of your code, especially the one that is accessible to them. And then you are stopping people from manipulating how these softwares function and how they interact with the registers in the computer and things like that. So I think this is the best solution that you can give. But there are many other solutions there that are there. But I think the best one by far is the cloud part. It's a cloud solution there. See, because copyrights, patents, user agreements, they work, yes, but to an extent, they cannot stop someone who wants to use the software. They cannot stop anyone who wants to do anything, especially a faceless person. You can't stop them. You can't really stop them. So, and then also there's the aspect of legal action. You can always intimidate and threaten people with legal action. But that doesn't mean that people are simply going to take your threats to proof. But cloud, putting your software in the cloud, offering it as a cloud service, most probably the best one. And then you can watermark your software, which is one of the best ways that you can do that. Which is basically something that they call offering subscription models. I think that is the best by far. And then another way is that I've seen the companies do that is by offering online authentication services. Some companies do that. That is also another way. So now coming back here, I was saying that as a developer, there are certain things that you need to understand, that you need to know. As a software, you need to understand the aspect of benefit analysis or cost benefit analysis before you do any project. Oh yeah, I wanted to ask someone a question. Like Nomfundo, in the company where you were, working, right? I'm pretty sure they were doing some cost analysis and things like that. How exactly, if you worked, how were they pricing their softwares or whatever work that they were doing? How were they pricing? Did they just pull out a number from top of their heads, or they had to sit down or they had like sort of a menu kind of system? How were they doing that? Hello, are you here? Okay, Nomfundo disappeared. I'm sorry, man. You forgive me, Troy. Can I ask you a question?
Why am I getting three bullets? That's it.
I know. I want to ask a question, Troy.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. So, in your business, you deal with. I'm saying in your business, you deal a lot with clients.
Yes.
Yeah. So, cost benefit analysis. Whenever you are quoting your clients,
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
how do you what is your structure? Do you just have like a basic structure that, okay, if I'm working with locals, this is how much I charge. If I'm working with websites, this is how much I charge. Or you just look at a client and you start calling numbers from the top of your head?
No, sir, we didn't do websites, but everything that we did
Nomfundo?
went through budget first. So you are cutting and I was answering you.
Oh, okay. I was getting a response from Troy. Can I get your response after Troy?
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay. So how I base my prices, they differ from package to another to the other. So what we do is that we first get your job first, and afterwards then we get the overview of everything that you guys are doing, and then what you want. Then from there we take everything, do our feasibility study, and based on what you guys have sent us, then that's where we coach you guys, and we get to a price analysis and knowing the overhead and the cost of everything that goes into the work that you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you basically do a lot of research. That's what you're saying before you can even give a price, after you know the scope of work.
Exactly.
Okay, perfect. Thank
you.
you.
You might charge a person. Let's say, for instance, you want 3 pages of a website, and then only to find out that it has to consist of certain magnitude of layers and everything, that like the documentation, the link, all sorts of things, the media that has to be put on there. Yeah. So we try by all means to do our own feasibility study, and then so that we analyze your scope of work, and then from there, then that's when we charge you from there.
Okay. All right. No, thank you. So let me hear from Nomfundo, and then I'll just discuss what it is that I want to say. Nomfundo? Nomfundo? Nomfundo is quiet. So Nomfundo is not saying anything. I'm pretty sure it's a network.
Yeah, you guys were cutting, so I don't know. But I'm
Oh,
here.
is it?
Yes.
Okay.
So I was saying that in my company or the company for we're not dealing with websites, but there was a procedure when coming to finances before we can do anything. Like there were departments that had to be involved. Like as Toy mentioned, that there are cost analysis that had to be taken, not only costs in the budget that were taking place, but also the director, like the head director, had to confirm because it was a municipality company, so that I was working for. So everything had to be, even the which is the municipal manager, had to confirm everything before it can get to the final stage. So if there was any project that we were working on, we had to undergo that procedure from budget to head director to the municipal manager before we can do or assist any company, like if we were to be outsourced. You get me? So I think there's a
Yes.
procedure in any IT department that has to take place before we can even assist the user.
Yeah. True.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, this basically you and Troy are basically saying the same thing, that like we've seen that with all companies, before you run anything, and this is one of the reasons why you need to learn these aspects there. That now, when it comes to running projects, regardless of what project, what the project is about, whether it's in IT or it's in the HR aspect, or it's in maybe bookkeeping, whatever that you're dealing with, you need to understand that there has to be a cost analysis, especially if you have to deal with clients. Every time, whenever you're dealing with clients, there's the there's the there's the there's that aspect there of cost analysis, which is a cost benefit analysis there. So that whenever you are quoting or you want to deal with a project, you have to take note of the cost before you can proceed. So that is where we are here now, that cost benefit analysis there. So now, what is it here? Now, this here is a technique that is used for assessing the monetary, so that is used for it's a technique that is used for assessing the monetary, social costs and benefits of a capital investment project over a given time. So now, each and every capital project that you embark in, or each and every project that you embark in, there are financial commitments and like, I'm not a finance person per se, but you understand that there's that aspect of money that is being involved in any investment that you're dealing, especially over a period of time. But also you need to understand that there's the element of time, because the longer the time it takes for you to do a particular project, the more money you are pouring into that into that particular project. So basically, if you check here at the third bullet here, it says time matters. Now, what does time matters? Because you need to understand that time, like you guys know this in general English, like general layman English, they always say this, something like time is money. Because the longer you take on a project, you are losing the ability to accept other projects, but yet at the same time, you are using money to do this particular project that you're doing. So it is very important, like, to plan. It is very important that when you're dealing with a project, look at those impacts of the project way ahead. Look at how much you're going to spend in, how much you are going to use, what exactly that you are going to use the project. How are you going to conduct your project? Break it down. Have sort of a time plan, which basically which basically analyzes your steps that you're going to take whenever you're working in the project there. So now, the principles in cost benefit analysis are the appraisal of a project. So now, appraisal of a project there, this is basically a technique that you use to project appraisal. So you're looking at that particular project, like what Troy and Mfundi are talking about right now, like that fact of you doing your research. looking at that particular project that you have, and then determining how much I am going to, like how much time am I going to spend on this project? Who am I going to use on this project? How much am I going to pay those people that I'm using? And then from there, what tools do I need? How much money am I going to spend on those tools? What am I going to who's going to do project management? How much am I going to do that? You see that? So you need to look at all those aspects there. If you are building, how much time am I going to, like I'm going to spend on this, I'm going to spend on that, the transport, I'm going to, you see that all of those are costs, and then take those costs, mix them together to form one basic cost that you have. And then from there, then you can put maybe, like if you are running a business at the end of the day, so obviously you're going to put a bit of markup so that you can also have some profits at the end of the day. So that is basically an appraisal of the project. That is you looking at the projects, each and every, and breaking down each and every component there according to the specifications that you've been given. And then next aspect there, the next principle, it says that after you've done your appraisal, then incorporate externalities into the equation. So if required, include wider social environmental impacts. E.g., let's say this project is going to take us 5 years. Money is not the same over the next 5 years. You have to understand that there is economics at play. There's inflation. You need to cover that. You have to filter that into that project, into that cost benefit analysis. Filter it in. All these externalities, their environment. You're looking at our country here. There are some times when people decide to go on toy and stuff. What if certain things break? During transportation there have to be insurance that you have to take care of, because what if one of the trucks is met along the way and it bends, or something happens and then like you do not get your merchandise that you're looking for? All those externalities you have to be incorporated into the equation. You have to expect the worst, plan for the worst as much as you expect good, but plan for the worst. Expect the best, but plan for the worst. See, so include all of those things there as much, because the thing is, and then another thing is, there's also the aspect that you might spend above your budget. Plan for that also as well. And then, so now the CPA, or the cost benefit analysis, is used to estimate the social welfare effects of an investment. So before you make any investment into any project, you also need to look at that. After praising the project and you look at everything that you need, also touch the little bit things there in your project there. And then the time, also take into account the time. That's what I was saying there. The time always matters, because whenever you're planning your project ahead in time, you need to look at that there. There are so many factors. There are many environmental impacts of that project in the years ahead. Look at that. So now, before I go any further, I don't know, like if Miss A is available to talk. I just want to ask her a certain question. Miss A, are you available to talk?
Hi, I'm not sure if I'm just following along with the lesson. Hi, sir. Got nothing prepared, just enjoying the content and following along.
Okay. I just wanted to ask a question, like especially based on this, since you are running a business. So I'm pretty sure, especially the CPA part there, you know something a bit more than me in this aspect there. So I just want to ask, maybe if you can give us like a little bit of an explanation from your business side, the CPA aspect. If you can, maybe they can understand it even better with your input.
Okay, it's flooring me a bit. I'll just give a small example perhaps, and that is Extensive's journey in the past to offer private classes. And initially, I don't think we planned it out well, and we spent a lot of money doing advertising and getting a campus and getting a facilitator. But the cost benefits analysis, when it was done in 2012, we were given feedback to actually close those private classes because we could not make enough money to say sustain the rent of a campus plus the salary of the facilitators. So you know, and was thought if you can get bigger and bigger, yes, it can be successful. But unfortunately, the cost benefit analysis then resulted in finance coming back and saying, no, we cannot support you in this endeavor. And we had to close those private campuses, and we had 2 campuses at the time. So it's very important to actually do that in advance and make sure that you can actually afford to run your business. That's the most difficult part in my view. And many ventures don't get off the ground. Many things we've tried. We've tried an internet cafe also. Okay, you know, there's different things. And sometimes one underestimates the expenses that can go in or the challenges that can happen. For example, software licensing can break a company. If you've got too many users, it's too expensive. So these are all very important things to consider. I'm gonna stop there and give back to Mr. TC. I'm not prepared. If you can invite me another time, I can chat more on that. But I know that perhaps your colleagues are looking more at cost benefit analysis for IT businesses. I'm not sure if it's all businesses, but you've got to make sure that you can sustain it and you can sustain your costs. And if you think you're going to need 1 or 2 years to get the business off the ground, you need to ask yourself, do I have another business that can feed into this, that can incubate a business? And that's a lot where business incubation can come in, where bigger companies are able to start small and younger businesses because they can absorb the costs. So it's a very interesting thing, the cost benefits analysis, and it also depends on whether you can do it with no budget, whether you can survive the first year, which is so tough and you might not be getting a salary, if you've got any other income stream that you're going to supplement it with, and eventually you ask yourself, okay, for how long must I supplement this small business until it can stand on its own? I think that's another subject of business incubation. We've been involved in that in the past, and I've seen many companies fly high and many absolutely collapse. And I think you've also got to have the courage to try something new and be willing to say, okay, if this doesn't work out, if the cost benefit analysis does not make sense, can I afford it or do I back out? Thanks, Mr. TC. I'm going to mute myself here. I'm not prepared for the class today, but lovely to be in the session. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much. You brought big light to this. So I hope your colleagues actually got that, because that explanation was way better than the explanation that I gave to you, because that was more practical, that was more relevant according to a company that you guys know. So now when you're looking at it, like, you notice that the CPA here is something that is very important, especially if you're dealing with a business, whether you are working in your own company or you're working for somebody else's company. Those are some of the things that you need to look at. The CPA aspect, it works, and it's very beneficial. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask me. Miss A can't talk, but you can ask me, and then I will try to the best of my ability to give you a response, especially regarding that CPA part. Are there any questions that you guys want to ask? Okay. No questions from you guys. So you understood perfectly.
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Awesome. So now, then we'll move on to the next part here, the components. Now, there are certain components there that make up this the CPA. So the first one here is the general description. So now, in the general description, which is the general description of the project, so basically you're coming in and then you give like an explanation of the environment under which okay, like if you're reading there, they say that you give an explanation to the environment under which each analysis is done, is such as the objectives, the assumptions, the project, the decision life, etc. So I'll give you an example. Like when you're giving basically a project description, here you are just coming in and then you are introducing what your project is about. So let's say if your project is like, let's say, I'm just gonna pull an example from my head, building a power station in South Africa. So, and then you come, what is the objective? The objective is to provide a certain amount of electricity. Let's say you want to provide 1 megawatts into the system. And then from there, what are the assumptions? Now we start giving the assumptions there. Okay, I want maybe this power plant to run on solar. And I want it to be in a place where there's an abundant amount of sunlight. I've already bought the land, and then I need someone to come and design the project. And I want the power plant at least to have a lifeline of at least a minimum of 50 years. So if ever the components they need to be, if it needs to be shut down, it should be 50 years from now. You see, already now you've given sort of a description, like a short description of the project. So you've given the objective, you've given the assumptions, you've given the decision life and stuff. And then you tell them, okay, maybe let's say I want to build it in about 2 years. So that I can plan properly. See that's one of the aspects of your CPA, which is a general description. You need to be able to describe your problem in short. And like when I'm saying in short, I'm not talking about like one paragraph. Like in short can mean a page, can mean 2 pages, depending on the project at hand. And then from there, and then after the program description, and then you can come with alternative scenarios. So now what happens now if, let's say, your scenario number 1, which we described in the project, doesn't work out? What is your fall in plan? What is the plan that you're planning on following? So where exactly do you intend to go to if you do not make it? What is your fall to plan? So in order to decide which is the best option in the CPA, you have to consider the cost and the benefits for each one of those. You're supposed to have a lot more options. You're supposed to have more than 3 options, 4, 5 options, so that you can select of the options that you have works better for you. Which one is going to be which one is going to which one is going to cost less money, for instance? Which one is going to cost less time? Which one is going to achieve the best results that you are looking for? Which one is going to benefit us more later in life? Which one is going to take longer? Which one is going to take shorter? Which one is going to need our 100% involvement? Which one is going to need less involvement? You need to look at all those scenarios there. So get all those scenarios together and plan from there. And then number 3, identify the benefits and costs. Obviously, this is like paramount, the benefits and costs always. So now what exactly do you mean? When you're talking about the cost, we're talking about how much it's going to cost for you to run that particular project. How much is it going to cost you? So now you have to look at the activities. You're going to look at the resources. You're going to look at the categories. You're going to look at the personnel. You're going to look at the overhead costs. You're going to look at depreciation. You're going to look at inflation. You're going to look at the annual costs and stuff, the cost. So all of these costs here have to be gathered in. You have to involve them because you have to look at all that stuff and try to find which one is going to work the best for you. Now, when it comes to the benefits, these are services, capabilities, and qualities of each alternative system that can be viewed as the return from an investment. That's what these benefits are. So to estimate the benefits, first identify the benefits for the customer and the organization that provides the services to the customer. So if you are going to work for a company, for instance, let's say I'm going to work for FNB, or for like for instance, right now, you guys, you're busy doing work for different companies, and those companies that you're working for, they've got clients that they are actually serving, or that they're servicing. So now, you have to look at the benefit. Like when you're looking at benefits, you have to look at benefits from that from that aspect, from the aspect of, okay, my client is a company that I'm working for at this particular time. So how do they benefit from there? And then now remember that the benefit that you get, that the client is going to get, is going to translate to the users of that particular, or the customers of that particular service that you're offering. You see that? So these benefits, they need to improve the quality of the services that you actually give. So those are some of the benefits that you actually look at. So is your CPA being any benefits? Because if your CPA doesn't bring any benefits, then it's pointless, it's useless. Because there is no point in, let's say you want to upgrade a certain system, but that system there, that's when you're upgrading, you literally have exactly the same work scope, exactly the same features, you have exactly the same problems that you had before. So it's pointless. Why are you wasting money? And then now, on that, the other benefits that you're looking at there, like what productivity gains. If you're an organization, one thing that we always run away from, but it is there. There's the aspect of staffing reductions. There's the aspect of staffing reductions. I don't know, like for some people it's a good thing, for other people it's a bad thing. But if you're a company, to be honest, this is one thing that companies want, like to reduce the number of staff that is operational. So banks are doing this. I remember when Standard Bank started working more on their app, because Standard Bank used to be, at one point, they used to be a bank that was very, the way like used to be a very traditional bank. But and then just before COVID, then they started getting serious on using their app, especially with influx of smartphones, and then with more people now getting mobile apps and stuff. So then Standard Bank now started shifting its focus towards the IT aspect of things. They started moving away from the traditional teller kind of business that they were dealing with, and then they started shifting towards that. So now you notice that in their scope, in their project that they're doing there, just that I didn't read a lot about that project there, but one thing that they did in their project was they started developing the app to give it certain features that will allow self-independence, especially when dealing with their mobile app. So now they started improving that app, because the app was very basic before then. And then now, when they started improving the app became better equipped. Now it is more features. You could order a card, you could delete a card, you could add this, you could do that. You could, like, even banking was made, like literally what people are doing now in banking. If you look at maybe 5, 6, 7 years back, this mobile banking world has changed entirely. Now, because of the projects, because of what companies did, they started investing on them. So now, on that, I'm pretty sure even their CPA looked at the benefits. And then when they looked at the benefits, and then they started saying that, okay, we're going to have a fewer number of staff. Then if it's like that, then which means we're going to start closing branches. They started closing branches, even though regrettably the people started losing jobs, but they started closing branches. Now, when they started closing branches, they left their ATMs, but branches started closing down. And then it's not like they closed down because they didn't have money, but they closed down because they were saving costs. And then while it's saving costs, at the same time, they were busy there improving their mobile app and then making it better and better and better. And now people are actually, I feel like people are actually happier now because now you don't have to go and stand in queues to do some basic banking. A lot of the aspect you can do it on the app, or except if you really need to go to the bank. Like myself, I don't even remember last time I went to a bank. To be honest, I don't even remember. Maybe I only go to the ATM, but most of the times I don't even remember when I go to the bank. So this just shows you that these companies, whenever they do the CPA, they look at those benefits there. So those benefits, they might be a disadvantage to someone else, but to them, they are a benefit. Productivity gains. Robots do most of the work. They don't get tired. They receive less complaints. Staffing reductions. The company doesn't have a huge workforce that they have to pay for. They do not have to be paying rents for buildings that they really use. See that improved organizational effectiveness. Companies start improving how they actually function. They improve a lot. So now that just doesn't apply to the example that I just gave. Like that applies to a whole other examples around the country. Just give me a second. Sorry about that, guys. Now back to this thing here, the benefits. So we're saying that the benefits they are to the business. Remember, is that they're not, but not just the business. They also look at their clients. So the first benefit that they always look at is the clients, ease of use and things like that. And then from there, and then they move over to looking at their own benefits as a business. That's what they look at when looking at as a CPA, because the whole point of a CPA is for improvement. Whether the improvement, like for instance, if you are working with an app, it has to, like, if let's say you want to make a major overhaul and stuff, like you have to look at it in terms of numbers, because that's what everything ends up to at the end of the day. It always comes up with numbers. So does the business benefit from this? What does the business improve? For instance, Extensive has a portal. In that portal there, it's as much as it was a project to bring the portal to Extensive. Extensive did a CPA and looked at the benefits to the organization and to you guys, because now other companies do not have portals. They have to submit files by hand. Now imagine now if you have to be submitting files by hand, you have to be carrying files almost every week, every month, to go and submit those files. You write, to go and submit those files and stuff. It's tedious, especially to you guys. It will be tedious. You have to travel up and down. But now you don't even need to travel. You're sitting at the comfort of your house. You're busy submitting everything on the portal. Download, upload, download, upload. Simple life goes on like that. It's beneficial to you guys. Also, at the same time, it's beneficial to the company also, because it's easy for the company to follow up. So now they're looking like, okay, is so and so submitting? Yes, so and so has got their things. They're looking through the system. Your reports are there. Your registers are there. Everything is there. It's easy for the company also to follow up. Also for the company's clients, it's also easy for them to follow up, to track your progress throughout. So and then now schedule, benefits and costs. So for each and every alternate defined that we spoke about here, you remember that we spoke about these there. Also, each and every alternate has got its own costs and benefits. Each and every alternate has got its own cost and benefits. So all those things have to be looked before you reach a consensus. And then there is a formula for that. Notice that the formula is P is equals to F bracket 1/1 plus I over N. So where P represents present value, F represents the future value, I the interest, and the number of years, which is basically what you call a present value formula there. So this here is used to calculate the present value cost. So I'm pretty sure for those that did maths in matric, this formula is not new to you. We use it for calculating, like for instance, loans and no, not loans. So because loans is actually future value. So present value is used to calculate the opposite of loans, if I just put it like that. So for those that did this metric, I'm pretty sure even MathSlit, it's there. And then comparisons. Comparison alternatives is basically dealing with the same thing there. That compare the alternative solutions. Always compare the alternative, because remember, guys, like whenever you're doing a CPA, it is not enough to always focus on the plan that you have. Focus on the plan that you have, but also explore alternative, because like if you do not explore alternatives, you end up being lost. Like you might lose some money, you might save up some more if you really look at things in that manner there. And then sensitivity analysis. Now, under sensitivity analysis here, in part, the application helps the user define how sensitive the results are to changes in the cost and benefits. You see that? So you need to understand that also your sensitivity analysis there. Like any change or any alternative that you have, or let's say you are done with the project sometime later, how does that project later, in the later stages, how does it respond to any changes that you bring in? Like last time, I was listening to a conversation on the radio, I think, when these guys were talking about, no, it was on YouTube, when they were talking about ESCOM, the current, this current called Madupe. So this current thing called Medupe, is it Medupe or Matupe? Yeah, between the two, the Matupe power station. Now, and then someone was saying something about, this was a project, and this is my belief, because this guy was an engineer who was speaking there, and he actually used the term CPA. It was like, when they planned that power station, they did not make use of CPA. And because of that, and then I don't know how true it is, and so I'm just quoting what he said. So he said they did not make use of CPA because now these guys, they planned and then they met that power station that they were supposed to build, that was supposed to take over 10 years to build, but was built in a certain number of years. And then from there, now the reason why it's breaking down the way that it's breaking down is because the components are not up to standard. You notice that now that just tells you a lot about the CPA that was done there. That one is components being used substandard. Those are some of the things that I was speaking during that conversation. The work was done in not a a proper ordered way. They overspent, and then like once now the power plant starts to run, now the sensitivity analysis, it's failing the sensitivity analysis because it doesn't respond very well to any changes. So now instead of benefiting, it is now actually costing more than it's supposed to benefit the people that it serves. You see that? So it's failing the sensitivity analysis, the item there. So hence, now with each and every CPA that you have, always look at that. Look at the analysis there. Analyze and check. Okay, this project that I have, I'm preparing ABC things that I have, and then from there, if I put this to a sensitivity analysis, because a sensitivity analysis has to be done constantly, because it influences your outcome at the end of the day. So now repeat it. So now the more that you repeat it, the more you see like, okay, my parameters, they're sensitive to this, but they're not sensitive to that. So if I use an alternative here, then my parameters are going to be stable. I'm going to be this. So the analysis is not considered to be sensitive to any, like it's not supposed to be, the analysis is not supposed to be sensitive to any parameter. It's supposed to work independently of that. So those are some of the aspects here of the of your CPA here, your what you call the components of the CPA. So for today, we're going to stop here because now we have to move on to specific outcome number 2. So this is where we're stopping today. So now on this note here, if you guys have any question, we're opening that platform right now for you guys to ask any question before we can close the session for today, and then we will meet tomorrow. So are there any questions today? Are there any clarifications that anyone needs before we close up?
Sir, I want
Hello,
to
guys.
ask.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. I wanted to
Nofundo.
the sensitivity analysis. Is it only for the client where the client expresses himself, or it's also something that we have to do as developers?
It's something that you have to do because, like, remember, at the end of the day, you are the one who's in charge of the project, isn't it? So
Yes, sir.
the sensitivity analysis has to be done actually from your part more than from the client's part. It's from your part because you're also looking at, okay, if I change ABC, how is it going to respond later? Is it going to give me a problem? Because what if this client decides to say, okay, you are my developer for life. So whatever change that needs to be done, you have to do it. And now, whenever you're doing your analysis there, and then you notice that the change that you have is going to be tough to implement sometime later in the future. So those are some of the aspects that you need to look at also from your own side.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, guys? Okay. So if there's no more questions, then we can close here today and then we'll continue tomorrow. And guys, do not forget, we are done with module 1 and then with all the specific outcomes, and then we are dealing module 2, and then there's a specific outcome that we have done. Do not let your work stack up. Remember that. Never let your work, never let your work stack up. But always keep catch up with the work. So if you need to do, right now, it's going to be very smart for you